Hi, I'm Tash. Welcome to Tash's Library. Today's video is my favorite video. It is my July TBR with a return of the TBR game, which I didn't play last month, which is really sad because it is my favorite. This month I am going with only 5 rolls. The reason for that is I've had 2 really bad reading months and I didn't even get close to what I was supposed to be reading. So I'm going to be kind to myself and give myself fewer to read. And then if, it gives me scope to do some mood reading as well. And we'll see how I go. And here's the board, same board as before, multiple different colors that correspond with the colored cards. Each color relates to a different type of prompt. So green are covers and formats, green is genres, settings and tropes, red is titles and prose, gold is stats and authors, and silver is it's so random. Once again, I'm using my trusty little Eeyore. If I land on these bookworm places, then I get to play the bookworm game. So that's pretty cool. So as mentioned, I'm going to go over a base of 5 rolls this time, and obviously if I throw a double, then I get to add an extra roll. So let's see what happens. So first roll is a 3. So I'm going to go with 1, 2, 3. So that's titles and prose. I'm just going to randomly shuffle and pull from within the set of cards, mainly because I'm really bad at shuffling. So I'm just going to let's go with this one. Punctuation. Interesting. So I've got to pick a book that has punctuation in it. So this could be a comma, an apostrophe. It could be an exclamation mark, a question mark, any punctuation. So let's see what I have. So for punctuation, I'm going to go with Death's End by Kixin Liu. I have read the first 2 books in this trilogy. The first one is The 3-Body Problem, and the second one is The Dark Forest, and I have adored these books. I pretty much read both of them back to back last month. And yeah, I cannot wait to complete this installment. This is a little bit chunkier than the first 2, but you know what? I'm so up for it. So basically, A 3-Body Problem tells the story of a secret government agency in China during the time of the Cultural Revolution that set up this project to basically look out at the stars. And of course, things are discovered and things get dicey. I'm not going to tell you much more than that because, to be honest, the joy of reading these books is just not knowing what's going to be happening. And it just blew my mind. And I cannot wait to finish this trilogy. If you like hard sci-fi, you must read The Remembrance of Earth's Past. It is just incredible. So anyway, that's the first book on my TBR, and I'm very excited because that will finish off the trilogy for me. And roll number 2 is a double. Of course it's a double, but all right, that's okay. So I've got 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's green, covers and formats. So once again, just going to randomly shuffle, and I'll just pull. Let's pull this one. Has a map in it. Interesting. So I'm guessing a lot of fantasy books do have maps. We'll have a look at what I can get. For Has a Map, I'm going to continue another series that I had put on the back burner for quite some time. And it's a series I really want to try and read quite a lot of this year. And so this is A Storm of Swords by George R.R. Martin. This is the 3rd book in A Song of Ice and Fire. However, my books split up the 3rd book into 2 fairly chunky books, and I've read the first part, but I haven't read the second part. So this one is going on my TBR. I don't think I need to tell you much about A Song of Ice and Fire. Obviously, the first book is Game of Thrones, And from what I hear, it's fairly close to the TV series, at least the first book. It's just this epic fantasy with all these warring factions, family feuds, with a little bit of mystery and mythology thrown in as well. It is gory, it is epic, and it blows your mind and it surprises you at every turn. I have never watched the series, and therefore I'm really keen to just get on with this before someone spoils it for me so far. And I know it's not complete, but you know what? I still like the shock factor of being surprised when something happens. So this is going on my TBR. Roll number 3 of 6 now is 9. For a second there I thought it was a double, but no, it's not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Silver! Silver's my favorite because I get to play different games. All right. So these are all the different random games I can play, color wheels, number wheels, etc. So I just pick this one. Random number. Interesting. So that means I have to go into my spreadsheet and I organize them all by alphabetical order. Then I use a number generator to work out which book on my spreadsheet I'm going to be reading. I've never had this one. I'm very scared because I have no choice whatsoever in this prompt. All right, so this is my TBR spreadsheet, and I have listed all the books that I own. Now, these are including physical copies, ebook, audiobook. It also includes some of the Prime reading books that I have access to. There's all of them in alphabetical order by a title. And if I go right down to the bottom, it turns out it goes down to 286, which means there are 285 due to the title taking up the first row. That means I have included 285 options in my random number generator. This is terrifying. All right, so let's go to the number generator. So I've gone 1. Now I'm going to go 2 through to 286 because that makes total sense with regard to my spreadsheets. And I'm going to generate a random number. Let's see what comes up. 148. Almost too scared to look, but let's have a look. 148 is The Maleficent 7 by Cameron Johnston. So for random number, I got The Maleficent 7 by Cameron Johnston. Now this one I have on Kindle, and it's just a book I happened to pick up. I heard some good things about it. It is a dark fantasy, so I'm not sure how I'm going to go with it, but it sounds pretty cool. So the tagline for it is, when you are all out of heroes, all that's left are the villains. And it basically tells of this demonologist who assembles 6 warriors to fight some wars. And this involves a necromancer, a vampire lord, a demigod, an orc, a pirate queen, and an alchemist. And then apparently they disbanded, and then years later their town is being threatened, and so they brought together as the last bastion against this enemy that's tearing through the land. It sounds cool. I'm gonna give it a go. Roll number 4 is a 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Another green. Covers and formats. Let's go with this one here. Author photo. Interesting. I have to find a book that has an author photo in it somewhere. This could be inside or on the cover. So for author photo, I'm going to read a book that I've been wanting to read for quite some time, and that's Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston. There is a photo at the back of the author, so that fulfills the prompt. And this just sounds really, really cool. It is a middle grade novel described as an enchanting fantasy adventure filmed with heart and soul. I've heard amazing things about it. And it follows Amari, whose brother is gone missing, and no one will talk about it, and his mysterious job holds a clue. So when she's invited for a trial at the Bureau of Supernatural Affairs, she thinks this is going to be her chance to save him. But then she needs to get her head around the world of the Bureau, where mermaids, aliens, and magicians are real, and her roommate is a were-dragon. That sounds awesome. I'm so excited about this one. And she must compete for a spot against kids who've known about this world their whole lives. And with an evil magician threatening the entire supernatural world, Amari has never felt more alone. But if she doesn't pass the 3 tryouts, she may never find out what happened to her brother. I am very excited to read this. As I said, I've heard great things and I've been wanting to get to it for some time. Roll number 5. Ooh, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Another silver. Woohoo! Woohoo! Hopefully this one gives me a little bit more choice, because I would like some choice. Let's go this one. Random shelf. Great. Okay, I can do random shelf. That's all right. We can make it work. This is my bookshelf pretty much that has books that I haven't read yet. So the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to number the different cubes and the top 2 shelves of that little bookcase. And I'm only going to include though the sections that have quite a few books I haven't read. So I will not be including this big anthology shelf. I will not be choosing this shelf either, because that's an anthology or really large too. And I'm not going to be including my Lord of the Rings shelf. I'm also going to exclude the very bottom shelves that have mostly reference books and some science books that I have read. So I'm going to count them up and we'll go to a number generator. Right, so I've gone to a number generator wheel, which I thought would be the kind of cool way to look at it. After counting all my shelves, I have 21 shelves. So let's see what I get. So spinning and spinning and spinning. And I have shelf number 20. That is cool. I can do shelf number 20. Shelf number 20 is this top shelf on my little bookcase, and this is a no-brainer. This isn't even a choice for me, because I have some of the J. Sullivan books. I can't read those yet because I want to finish the Rhaenyra Revelations first, and so the others are all the Legend of Drizzt, and so the Legend of Drizzt it's going to be, so I'm going to have to read Streams of Silver. So random shelf was really easy this time, because the only book that I could actually choose from that shelf, that because it's all part of a series, is Streams of Silver by R.A. Salvatore, and this is the 5th book in the Legend of Drizzt series. This is a series I wanted to read heaps of this year, so I'm very excited to actually get this onto my TBR. They're just so fun. They follow a dark elf called Drizzt Do'Urden, who basically grows up in this highly aggressive, competitive society underground, and he comes to realize that his society is not really in line with his values. He's not that kind of person, and therefore he has to go out and forge his own way in the world. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you what Streams of Silver is going to be about, because it's fairly far into the series, but the writing is beautiful. It's quite philosophical at times, and just the action scenes are great. There's a great animal companion in the form of a black panther, and you know what? I just enjoy this. This is just epic, fun fantasy at its best. And final roll is a 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Another green. So some colors have just not had much of a chance, but that's okay. Covers and formats are kind of cool. Let's go with this one. It's wanting to stick. Mythological creatures. Okay, so I've got to pick a book that features a mythological creature in some way. Let's see what I can find. And a sixth roll, mythological creatures. And for this one, I'm going to put a fairly new acquisition onto my TBR, and that's Shanghai Immortal. This sounds absolutely amazing, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. I haven't been reading enough 2023 new releases, and this is a chance to get one of those onto my July TBR so I can start catching up a little bit. This is very recently released though, and it is a fantasy debut book. And with Chinese deities and demons cavorting in Jazz Age Shanghai. So basically this Lady Jing is half vampire, half fox spirits, and she has spent the past 90 years running errands, dodging the taunts of courtiers, trying to control her explosive temper. So when she overhears the courtiers plotting to steal a priceless dragon pearl from the king, she seizes this chance to expose them. And with the help of a gentle mortal tasked with setting up the central bank of hell, Jing embarks on a wild chase for intel, first through hell and then mortal Shanghai. But when her hijinks put the mortal in danger, she must decide which is more important, avenging her loss of face or letting go of her half-empty approach to life for a chance to experience tenderness and maybe even love. So I reckon this fits mythological creatures. You know, you've got deities, demons, you've got fox spirits, vampires. And you know what? This sounds cool. I like this idea of this Jazz Age Shanghai. So yeah, I've heard good things about it. Person in the bookshop highly recommended it, and therefore I'm going to put this onto my TBR. And that's that. A very doable TBR for July. Some of these, I mean, they're not skinny books, but you know what? I think they're going to be really fun. I do have 2 weeks holidays from work, so I'm going to do quite a lot of reading. I have heaps of other things to do, but I'm just going to try and get through these books. And I think it's such a good mix because I've got a new release and I've got some series that I've been really wanting to continue and series I really want to finish immediately, and also just some random book that I don't actually know much about. And so it's a great way to just kind of chip away at my TBR and the books I own. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. And if you like what you see, please subscribe, comment, like, and until I see you next time, take care.